I can, because I take care of the operation, so it's very convenient for me in the future. But the foreign party may think of a lot of factors like transportation cost, cost of the premises for the factory, etc. The second thing is about the investment and equity holding structure. This is quite important. It depends on how much you're going to put into this joint venture and how much control you can have in this joint venture. And for decision-making powers of a joint venture, the ultimate decision-making organ of a joint venture is the board of directors. The board of directors can vote. Each director can have one voting right. This can also be agreed that the power of the director of the board is based on how much percentage the party who appoint, the percentage in the equity holding structure of the party who appoint this director in the board. So this will be related to how much control you can have in the decisions making power of the joint venture. The third point is about parties' responsibilities, like which parties are going to be responsible for what. You basically have to agree before you sign the contract, the agreement. And normally the Chinese party will be just responsible for the manufacturing and also operation, and the foreign party may be responsible for the financial matters and also the sales. And also they would like to have a supervision on the manufacture of the company as well. And control of the board decisions we just mentioned. You can count on the head. You can also count on the percentage of the equity holding structure. And after you set up the joint venture, the structures like you have the board, and then you have the management team, which can also be appointed by both parties to run the joint venture. And normally you have someone to do the manufacturing, and someone to do the management, someone to do the finance, and someone to do the HR. And normally the head of this department, they will be appointed by different parties just to balance the power of both parties in the joint venture. And technology transfer, licensing, and IPR issues, because in a lot of cases the foreign party will just transfer its technologies into this Chinese joint venture for the products, for the manufacturing of the products. And so how would you like to arrange it? This one you also have to discuss with your Chinese partner. The foreign employees on the ground, it can be, that means like some Chinese partners, they are not really willing to accept the foreign employees from the other party to be on the ground to do the supervision of the operation of the joint venture, because basically they want the Chinese partner, regarding the operation, they want to have everything in control. But they'll find a lot of excuses for not sending such a foreign employees. For example, the cost will be very high in the first few years, and there will be problems with communications, and we'll have, for the management, we also have problems to, it will influence the efficiency for decision making in the management. They'll find a lot of excuses to try to push the foreigners out of the operation. But we still recommend, even it's going to cost you a little bit more money, you still have to have someone on the ground in the joint venture to supervise on the joint venture from different aspects. And also for the dividend distribution, if the joint venture makes profits in the future, maybe the Chinese party will think, I do not want to distribute, I don't want to repatriate the dividends, I just want to expand. But some foreign parties, they may disagree. So this can also cause dispute between the Chinese party and the foreign party. But normally these kind of things can be agreed in the joint venture agreements before they sign. So maybe for the first few years, if we make profits, we just expand. From the fourth year, fifth year, if we have more profits, we just distribute the money. And the termination of the joint venture, I mean, the situations for which can lead to terminations they are always discussed beforehand. And some of the foreign parties, they also want to control the sales of the products which are manufactured by the joint venture. For example, you can only sell, I will be the exclusive distributor of the products of the joint venture, and the Chinese partner may say no. So this can also cause problems during the negotiation process. So during the joint venture negotiations, first of all, you always have to maintain a very nice, amicable atmosphere with the Chinese partner. Chinese people always do talk in a friendly way. We do not like to argue. So if sometimes, you know, when you fall into a dialogue, they will just say like, oh, let's stop this, let's go out for dinner. And during the dinner, they will also talk about this. They just want to keep everything in a very nice atmosphere. And a lot of foreign companies, before they enter into joint venture with Chinese partners, they will do an investigation on the Chinese partner, which can be really offensive to the Chinese partner. They will not be very happy. They will not be cooperating during the investigation. But still, I mean, this can help you reduce the risk before you enter into cooperation with this Chinese partner. So basically, you just have to do clear all the concerns about of the Chinese partner for this kind of investigations, and try to make him persuaded and happy with such an investigation, and also to cooperate.
It's extraordinary how little investigation or diligent due diligence foreign partners make on their joint venture partners. Here you are getting into bed, essentially marriage, with a Chinese partner for 10, 20 years, putting in millions of dollars, the closest you can be, and people just don't even do any investigation. I mean, you just get astounded. And joint ventures have got a very bad name in China because of the past. They're coming back in favour now, but they're coming back in favour with a different approach. And the approach is, you know, making sure you do the investigation, being a bit more diligent on all these things. But it's quite extraordinary how, because it's like doing distribution deals or sourcing deals. Everything's great at the start. So, we're going to make $1 million, we're going to be fantastic, but no one cares about the detail. And I mean, things you wouldn't even dream of doing in your home country when you're doing a deal. People sort of leave all business sense at the door. Or, you know, I've seen, you know, brilliant millionaire entrepreneurs from the West lose all business sense as soon as they walk through into a Chinese negotiation. It's quite extraordinary. Simple stuff, really simple rules, you know, to do.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna ask you, just because you said this.
Sure.
In history, with your experience and everything, how beneficiary is to have a joint venture? Because I just went to a automotive market joint venture summit kind of thing, and they were not talking really well about this thing. Because the automotive industry is losing a lot of money from it.
Let me assure you, if the automotive companies didn't have to do joint ventures, they wouldn't do it. I mean, you really think GM and Ford and Peugeot want to be in bed? Not at all. They have to. Under Chinese law, no foreign automaker can own more than 49% of a China, so it has to be in joint ventures. Yeah, I mean, the reason we put in joint ventures here is because this is the pinnacle of the clash of Chinese culture versus foreign culture. It's when you're actually in a business together, sitting there, and you've got totally different cultures going here. So it causes the most problems. I mean, strategy problems, operational problems, IP problems, and they've got a very bad name. But look, quite frankly, if you get the right partner and the negotiation's fair and you've got control, then it can be very beneficial, because you can get relationships you can't otherwise get. You can get insight into market. You can get the benefit of being Chinese with also maybe the benefits of being foreign. I mean, you get access to markets, access to information, access to deals you can't get. And people, when they're doing joint ventures now, are trying to get market access. But what we're seeing at the moment is that they're demanding control, so equity control, operational control, management, financial control. But yeah, there's still a lot of benefit. They're coming back at the moment. But at that high-end level, there's a lot of problems, a lot of problems. But a lot of that is historic, because they've been forced into these joint ventures 20 years ago, and they were the first people that came into China with big money. There's been a lot of disputes, internal disputes, but they're making money. They're actually making money. In one, you know, so they've got to keep in bed together. You know, but it's not. They're not happy at all.
So, yeah, like the last point, like which you just mentioned, just get involved in the joint venture more. Even you cannot maybe be involved, be responsible for the operation, manufacturing or human, like HR issues or the financial issues, but at least you have to make sure that you've got the right to supervise on these matters of the gym.